sorry, it's a visual for later. I want to thank you, everybody, for coming. This company, this program has meant a lot to me. That song is actually the infertility national anthem, so to speak. We'll get into that. And it made me a little emotional, actually, so I apologize for the little bit of emotion. So I am Amy Beckley. I am the founder and CEO of MFB Fertility, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about making babies. Yeah. So a lot of people in the audience think this is fun. It's easy. Just relax. You'll have a baby. You know, all those kind of things. But in reality, for some people, it is the worst experience. It's emotional, it's draining, and it is just not that easy. So here's a typical timeline. A couple goes, hey, I'm going to get pregnant. They're all excited. They're happy. They go at it a couple months. Kind of reality sets in. They're like, oh, no, what's going on? I'm getting a little frustrated. I'm getting really anxious. I'm getting sad. I'm getting angry. And you go into this spiral of depression and anger, and then you hit this 12-month mark. Now, I don't think you all know this, but typical medical professionals won't see a couple that's trying to conceive until they hit this point of despair, this 12-month mark. That's the 12-month mark where they say, okay, you're allowed to get medical care, and then it's all out of pocket. So you have couples coming in that are depressed, they're in despair because they can't conceive a child. So how common actually is this? Is 1 out of every 10 couples in the US are infertile, but that rate increases as the couple ages. And so because typical couples are waiting later in life, they're building careers before they start a family, it's now about 1 in 6 couples. So 1 in 6 couples will deal with infertility. I am standing in front of you today because I am the 1 in 6. It took me about 3 years to conceive my son. And then, if you're lucky enough to get pregnant, then you get to deal with the issue of pregnancy loss. 1 out of every 3 pregnancies will end in miscarriage, and 1 out of every 4 women will experience at least 1 miscarriage in their lifetime. And another crazy fact is that a woman cannot seek medical care for pregnancy loss until she has had 3 in a row. So you have this situation where these couples are waiting 12 months to conceive, or they have to have 3 losses. This is despair, this is depression, and there are literally not enough tools for these women to have that they can self-treat and get pregnant themselves. So that's where we saw this. I've had 7 losses. It never gets easier, it always gets harder. And we really wanted to fill these holes, fill these gaps in the products that were available to these couples. So let's talk about the menstrual cycle, right? So the number 1 cause of infertility is lack of ovulation or insufficient ovulation. You don't have an egg, you have a 0% chance of conceiving a child. So every month, there's about 2-3 days where a woman's fertile. And so there are products in this first half of the cycle where these are ovulation predictor kits. There's a lot of products here. This basically tells a couple when to have intercourse. When is that woman going to be fertile? And then on the other side of the equation, there's pregnancy tests. So did pregnancy occur? And there's a lot of products in this space as well. But what about this space right there? We argue that this is the most important space. There's a lot of questions left out there, like, am I actually ovulating? Do my hormones, can they support a pregnancy? Can I hold a pregnancy? If I get pregnant, can I maintain that pregnancy? And so really there's 3 things. The left half is, when should I have intercourse? The middle one is, do I have a chance at conception? And the last half is, am I pregnant or not? And what we do here at MFB Fertility is we've invented a product called Proov, where we fill that gap. We created a commercial product in there that helps answer those questions. And so basically, Proov is very easy. Here's my visual. You pee in a cup, you dip the strip in the cup, you lay it flat, you wait 5 minutes, you read your results. So just like that, no labs, no blood draws, no physicians. You get the results, you go about your way, you get that information. And so why would you even want to test progesterone? So progesterone is in that little red, now purple part of the cycle. where we can actually confirm ovulation, say, yes, you were fertile, you released an egg, and now you have a chance at conception. Then progesterone is needed for implantation. So do you have enough progesterone in your uterine cavity to accept the embryo and let it grow and survive? And then it's needed for pregnancy. It is the hormone that keeps you pregnant for 10 months. So women need to know this information. Somebody always asks me this question is, Amy, this is so obvious. How come nobody has made this before? Well, what I get is, well, women don't need that information. And I argue that they do, and they deserve it, and I'm here. And that was my passion, to start this company and give them that information. So we have two basic products. One are the strips itself. So the strips, very easy, 5-minute test. It fills that gap. So you can use the products on the left, products on the right, and put ours in the middle. The product on the other side is the Proov Fertility Kit, which basically makes it easier for the consumer. It's an app. You open up the app. Every day it says, take this strip, take that strip, and it combines all those three pieces into one product and gives the woman a very complete picture of what her hormones are doing throughout her cycle. So it's more information to help her conceive. We're also educating. Women don't understand their hormones, so we're trying to educate them. It's our job to, if they can't get medical care for 12 months or 3 losses, we need to give them this information. Are they normal? Are they abnormal? Are they, so something else they should be looking at to help them reach their goals sooner. We're building a community. Infertility is very isolating. You don't want to go tell your mom, you don't want to go tell your best friend, hey, I'm struggling with infertility. You turn to online communities. So we're creating a support community where we call them Proovers. And we're allowing women to get together, to share, to build this sense of community, and to educate each other. Our idea is protected. We are the very first at-home commercially available progesterone test strip on the market. So we have a lot of trademarks, and we have a lot of patent protection. We've done several clinical studies to validate the technology. So here I am, this infertile scientist with this great idea. How am I going to get money? Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of money. That's something I did lack. So we basically had this idea. We brought it to crowdfunding. We're like, we think women need this. Do they really need this? And we asked them. And they overwhelmingly, within 48 hours, funded our campaign. So we had the money, developed the product. We came back to them, and I said, test it, please, clinically validate it. So they did. They validated it. We went to market about 8 months after we raised the funds. We're now selling direct to consumers. Lifetime sales in the last about 18 months is about $250,000. And because this product helps a woman get pregnant and stay pregnant, there's a lot of different markets. The total market is about $39 billion worldwide. Growth projections, we're on track to hit $36 million in sales over the next 4 to 5 years. We are the original Proovers, so we're a team of 3. Myself, I am the infertile scientist. I also have an MBA in business. Specifically went to school to get my degree to start this company. And then Jeff Shell, he is actually in the audience. You can meet him later. He manages all the operations. It's wonderful having a patent attorney on staff. It's just beautiful. And then Ellen Shell is really the consumer branding genius. She created Proov. We're creating the Prover community. We're setting up that branding. And she's also managed bigger consumer brands such as Coors Light and Horizon Milk. And she's also here if you want to talk to her later. We're also surrounded by a lot of advisors, regulatory, medical, scientific, also consumer-facing, and everybody helps us develop the best product. So again, we fill this gap. There's products on the left that help you predict ovulation. There's products on the right which help you see if you're pregnant or not. And we're the one that fits in the middle. And we confirm ovulation. Yes, you're ovulating. And yes, you're producing enough progesterone to support a pregnancy. And so now, if you think about the fertility journal with Proov, we want to hit these women in the first 3 months when they're not desperate and sad and in despair. And we would introduce them to Proov, to our community, to our product, to our solutions, so they don't have to go through that anymore. And instead, they're educated. We've built them a community. They feel supported. And hopefully, they can find their end goal faster, quicker, and with less pain and stress. So thank you. I value your time, so thank you.